Hello everyone, welcome to my Surviving Angel Insight channel. So I want to speak on grief a little bit. We already about to go in 2019, and 2018 is a year. Well, I feel like the last few years we lost so many people, but especially 2018 we lost so many famous people, and we lost so many family and friends. I know me, I have 4,000 friends on Facebook, and I seem like at least twice or three times a day, I always see, hey, I just lost my mom, my grandmother, my father, my grandfather, my, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, or cousin, niece or nephew, and it's so sad. So let me just say right now, before I get into that, my prayers go out to anyone who ever suffered a loss. I wanted to speak on grief because we live in a world when we judge people with grief. What I mean by that is that we live in a world when people assume that there should be a time limit on how long a person should grieve. It should be a way a person should grieve. And it's sad. No one should tell you how to grieve. No one should tell you when to grieve and when to stop grieving. That's all on you. Because at the end of the day, grief affects us all differently. And let me speak on that. Sometimes I feel like, if you're going to speak about something, sometimes a lot of people want to know, how do you know about this situation? Did you experience it yourself? Why should I listen to you? So sometimes it's good to give someone an example, to let someone know when I'm saying something, I'm not saying it out of, pure evilness or judgment. I'm saying it because I'm here to help you, because I went through it or I experienced it. So this is how I know what to probably say, or what so have you. When my father died, by the way, this is his shirt, by the way. When he died, I felt like it crushed me, but I had to be strong for my mom. So I didn't get a chance to really grieve. It hurted me a lot, and for me, I feel like my way, we was living in two different states. I didn't get to see him as much, but we got to talk a lot, and it affected me really bad. And I think I was so angry. I mean, when he died, I just practically threw things, broke things, lashed out. But again, I had to be strong for my mom, and I didn't really, deal with it so much, and there was so much drama surrounding his death as well. But I felt like I handled it a lot better. I feel like I didn't completely break down. Kind of was like, okay, he's gone. I'm not going to have them conversations anymore. But it was okay at the time. And then my grandmother passed away 3 years later, and I felt like it broke me. When I mean it broke me, that was my grandmother. I loved her. She was my everything. I looked up to her. She taught me what it was to be a woman. She taught me what it's like to pray. She the one taught me to read my Bible twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. Grew up in church because of her, my mom. And that death really affected me. But once again, I had to be strong for my mother. I couldn't really grieve once again, because my priority was my mom. And I thought I knew what she was going through. And my mother never really recovered from my grandmother's death, which was her mom. And then a year and a half later, my mom was gone. And then I felt that. I mean, because it was no more of having to be strong for someone else. It was now I had no more excuses why I couldn't feel it. And I felt like I didn't just feel her death. I felt my father's death. I felt my grandmother's death. And I felt my uncle's death again all over me. And it was so much at once. But I felt like my mother's death was the hardest for me. And because that's your mom. That's who brought you in this world. And that's who was my support system when I got cancer. She was mainly the one there all the time. She put her life on hold for me. And then when the situation was reversed, when she got sick, I did everything for her. That was my mom. And she passed away in 16. This is 2018, and I still feel like it was yesterday. The holidays are the worst. I feel it the worst on holidays. I feel it the worst on her birthdays. I feel it the worst on her, the anniversary of her death. I feel it the worst on my birthday because I'm looking for a call. A lot of times when I'm not feeling well, I feel it the worst because that's when I want her here, because she will always call and check on me and get on my nerves. But you think about that. It's no time limit. And I get that, and I heard so many people tell me, "Oh my God, for crying out loud, it's been 2 years already. Get it over with." She wouldn't. First of all, you never tell a person to get over anything. Never. That's the worst thing you could tell someone who lost of anyone, especially a parent, to get over it. You don't say that to a person. I think you could say, "Hey, I'm praying for you. I'm there for you." And what people don't understand, when you lose someone, during that first week, when you're planning the funeral, and the funeral, that's when you around family and friends there. And then after that's over, everybody goes back on with their own life. No one cares to call on you. No one cares to check on you. So you're by yourself feeling all that pain, and you're dealing with the memories of now, especially when you're in a situation like me and my mother was, when it was only just me and her every holiday, because our family didn't invite us nowhere. So it was only just me and her every holiday, birthdays, everything together was me and her. Every weekend we spent a night at each other's place, and we was always together. And it's different when, even when we wasn't together, we was always on the phone with each other for hours talking. So people don't understand, you feeling all of that, and nobody thinks to check on you because they go on about their own life, but they got the nerve and the audacity to judge you about how long you should be grieving. Never let no one tell you how long you should grieve, and never let someone tell you how you should grieve. If you feel you want to visit that grave site, visit that grave site. If you feel like you want to cry for 2 hours a day, cry for 2 hours a day. If you feel like you want to laugh for 2 hours a day, laugh for 2 hours a day. Do whatever you have to do in a healthy way to heal, because it takes time. I'm here to tell you, it takes time. And yes, as the day, the week, the months, the years go by, it do get a little bit easier, because you start, it's almost, I'm trying to explain it in the right way. It's almost like they was there, but it sort of becomes, it's a memory. So you start to kind of like go through, okay, it's starting to be normal with them not being here. So it is kind of different in that aspect, because now you're like, okay, I'm getting understanding. I can't speak to them no more, but yeah, it still hits you. So as time go by, it really does get easier, but it's still going to hurt. And I feel like as a family and as a friend, you should do everything in your power to try to help them, do whatever you can to help ease the transition. Maybe if they parent used to call them every 30 minutes. I know you got your own life, so don't call them every 30 minutes. Maybe you can call them once an hour, once every 2 hours. Try to help them out so it can ease it. But just going about your own life and pretending the person is not there, and then have the nerve to judge like grief, is ridiculous, and it's not love, and it's not compassion. Grief hurts, and it takes time. No one expects you. Really, people who really love you don't expect you to get over it. You just get by it. You don't move on, you move forward. Because at the end of the day, we know that our loved ones would want us to just drop dead as well. They don't want that. They don't want us to be sad all the time. So we have to think about that as well. But I just want to tell you that when you lose someone, it's very hard, especially if you lost them by sickness, especially if you lost them by a murder. These griefs are painful. And especially if you lose them by suicide. And that's a whole nother show, so I'm not even going to speak on the suicide as much because I feel like that's a whole nother topic. But for grieving, just take your time. It's going to be okay. Keep praying. And just because you pray does not mean it's not going to hurt, because I pray all the time, and there's times when I'm laying in bed and I'm screaming out for my mother. So it's okay to pray. It's okay to walk through a grocery store and you see the favorite foods that your loved one used to eat and it makes you cry. It's okay. Don't let nobody judge you. Don't let nobody put you in the corner. Because what people don't understand, when you tell somebody who's grieving that they shouldn't grieve, or they shouldn't cry, or they shouldn't reminisce, what you're doing is pushing them in a depression state. And you're making it so much harder for them to get it together. And you should not do that. So for anyone out there, if you don't know how to handle someone who's going through grief because maybe you haven't experienced a loss yet, here's just a little bit of ideas what to do. Check on them. Say, if you ever need something, I'm here. And when you say that, mean that. Don't say, oh, if you need me, call me. And then when that person call you, you don't even answer your phone. You know where to be found. You doing everything else on social media, but you ain't even calling the person back to check nothing. No. Be there for that person. If they call you and they having a moment when they feeling down, go ahead and say, hey, do you need me to stop by? Do you need me to be there for you? And another thing, really, really fast, because I see my time, do not use the people who's grieving. I'm here to tell you, when a person is grieving, they are not thinking clearly. And again, I'm speaking this from personal experience, because I know the first year when my mother passed away, I was dead. I felt like I was emotionally, mentally dead. So I was not thinking clearly at all. And then we are 2 years later, and I still feel the same way. I feel like I'm not thinking clearly. I'm making rational decisions because I'm hurting and I'm in pain, and I feel like there's nobody there for me. Nobody loves me enough, and I feel alone. And a lot of times you're going to feel alone when you lose a loved one. But people out there, do not use this as a ploy to say, oh, I see this person is vulnerable, so now let me use this person. Let me take advantage of this person. Let me hurt this person. Do not do that. Because we're very vulnerable when we're grieving. And we easily can get taken advantage of, because we're not thinking at all what's going on. We're in that pain. It's like we're not even living. It's like we just flowing with the day, but we're not really there. It's very hard to explain unless you really went through this and you know what I'm talking about. So do not use a person at this time. Do not use the friend card when it benefits you. Be there for that person. Help that person. Don't judge though. Don't judge. Don't look down on that person. Just be there for that person. Have compassion, understand where they're coming from. And for the people out there that's actually grieving, I hope this video touches you and you say, she's right, I'm not alone. Because we do feel alone. A lot of times we feel alone. And a lot of times family think, well, I did kind of tag, so ain't that enough? No, sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes we need that hug. We need that visible contact of someone just to sit there and watch movies with us or make us laugh. Think about that. Because we do feel alone when we lost a loved one, especially if we lost a husband or a wife or a mom or a dad, or, we feel, or a child. We feel so alone, and we feel like nobody understands it. And don't be so negative as well. If you have any negative comments, keep it to yourself. Do not ever speak negative about anybody's grief. And especially if you didn't like the person who passed away, maybe you had a bad experience with them, that person who lost them don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear nothing negative. If you ain't got nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. Only thing we want to hear is praying for you, sorry for your loss, pretty much. You don't got to say nothing negative about what's going on. And don't bring up anything that the dead people can't defend themselves from. Point blank. But I just wanted to speak on grief because I see so many people grieving, and I see so many people getting judged for their grieving, and a lot of people's grieving in silence because we judge how people react to things, and we shouldn't, because everybody's not going to cry on cue. Everybody's not going to stop crying on cue. Everybody's not going to be so calm on cue. Everybody's not going to be so emotional on cue. You don't tell someone how to grieve. And I'm here with you all, and my prayers is with you all. I love you all. So I just wanted to share this because this was on my heart to speak about right now. So I just wanted to speak on this. So thank you so much for watching my video. And remember, when God wakes you up, that means He still has a plan for you. Do not give up.